All right. Brilliant, Bronwyn. We are very excited to see your presentation, and already from the slides, I can see it's going to be a great one. Over to you, Bron.
Thank you, Mark, and welcome everybody. Just thank you so much for joining my Teach Back session. A little bit nervous, but that's not going to stop us. I've many greats before me who've taught me that we can move through this despite our discomfort. Before we start with the actual teaching, I'd like to invite you to join me in a bit of a clearing practice that will really set us up for this evening's journey. Please take a moment to get comfortable. Make sure that your feet are firmly grounded and that you're in a good upright position, not too much strain on your neck. And then I want to invite you to please close your eyes. I have an ask, and this is that you please ensure that throughout this practice, it's a short one, keep a smile on your dial. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in together. And I want to ask that you invite all of your being to be present in these moments. Focus your attention after our 3 deep breaths on any part of your body where you've stored tension, perhaps some pain, unused energy, or an area that feels burdened right now. It could be burdened by the day's happenings or your week's journey this far. And allow that area to deeply relax, giving it permission. So through your mind's eye, communicate respectfully and gently to this area, giving it permission to release all the stored energy. But perhaps most importantly in this practice, give that area the recognition and the gratitude that it deserves, thanking it for bringing you through the day. Let's begin. We start with 3 deep breaths through the nose and releasing through the nose. Now I invite you to focus your energy on that particular area of your body, gently releasing and giving permission with loving thanks and gratitude. Remaining in sync with the natural rhythm of your breath, I'm going to ask that you gently bring your attention back to my voice. And when you're uncomfortable, let us collectively take a final deep inhale together through the nose. And as we exhale, let us exhale through our mouths, creating a sigh and releasing the final bit of energy that may be pent up elsewhere in our bodies. Let's begin. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. You can now open your eyes. Great. All right, so this evening, I'll be taking you through a deconstructed view of a mindfulness and gratitude journey. This is a personal share, and it's my story deconstructed. We're going to be looking at this through a story, but there's a couple of components of my story. The ingredients is made up of 1 part neuroscience, but please don't worry because I'm not going to take you through the stats and the full science behind it. I hope I've woven it into my story. 5 parts mindfulness anchored in our definition by John Kabat-Zinn. One part of gratitude, which is a very important part of this journey. And I hope that I impart a splash of inspiration. Last but not least, a bit of a disclaimer. Because this is my authentic story, be prepared because this is shaken and not stirred. Okay, I'm going to ask you to indulge me for less than 2 minutes in a poem that means so much to me. It will be narrated by Josie, the author of the poem. And it's quite important that we look at this because it will anchor the rest of the story, the rest of the lesson this evening. Here we go.
One day, the people who love you will receive the news of your passing. Their phone will ring and they will find that the most important person to them is not here anymore. This is not something that might happen, it is something that will happen. You will be a voicemail that people listen to again and again just to hear your voice. You will be a picture in a frame that stops people in their tracks breathless in the hallway. You will be the root cause of countless moments of insurmountable grief for the people who love you the most. And it is not later that you become someone who would leave a hollow pit in the center of someone's world with your absence. No time is needed to make you into someone who has changed people's lives to a point where they question whether or not they could go on without you. It does not have to be 50 years down the line for the lack of you to be inconceivable, because you are so important right now as you are. I know it's a twisted way to look at it, a destructive point of view for the sake of pointing out something positive, but the space you take up, no matter how big or small, is far too grand to ever be filled. It won't be. You belong here. There's nobody better for it than you.
Great. Thank you for indulging me. As Josie says, this is a very twisted way of looking at it, pondering one's own passing and what that might mean to the world. But the reason I've chosen to share this and integrate it into my lesson this evening, mindful friends, is that it rings so true because it was a thought that I hadn't reflected on until very late in my life. You see, in my life's journey, I was schooled by a teacher who turned out to be a bit of a crooked note, a bit of a liar. My teacher was trauma. Trauma had been my teacher, and in the aftermath of this trauma, I was left alone, confused, depressed, and afraid. As a youngster, I knew I had some form of comprehension that what the world required of me was actually to show up as a brave person, being able to manage through life, feel the joy that I see in other people experiencing. This realization really led to me having this insatiable need to show up as perfect, as always being the achiever at sports, at school, in life, generally, being the pride and joy of my parents' existence. But the truth is, all of that pressure had left me with no sense of gratitude or reality when it came to what it is that life actually means, not just to me, myself, but to others. And so as I grew, to be fair, one of the only desires I had in life was to finally end it all. So my 16th birthday wish for myself was to reach a point where I would make my parents proud enough to be able to leave this earth. And yes, it is what you're thinking. My plan was to commit suicide. This was not my first attempt, by the way, but it failed. And on my 18th birthday, or leading up to my 18th birthday, rather, this was the wish. I would reattempt because I had achieved more. And perhaps because I'm a little bit older and wiser, I would be successful. Somehow, that failed again. And in between the age of 18 and around about 21,
One day,
something started happening to me. I started realizing that my relationship with the people around me was changing. Perhaps it was maturity, EQ, not sure. But I developed a relationship with my mom, a relationship I'd never had. And I started noticing myself being thankful for the lessons, for the love, for the small gestures that any mother shows up with on a daily basis. But I was unable to see that before because I believed my teacher, trauma, that I was alone in this world. My relationship with my dad started blossoming, relationships in my social networks, in my academic space at university. And a thankfulness started emerging in me because slowly I started witnessing this cup of mine was no longer empty. But boy, oh boy, the darkness was still there. It would wax and wane like the moon, but it would come and go. But when the darkness was there, it was there. What I today realize is that those small moments of thankfulness were actually moments of gratitude. Because you see, mindful friends, I hadn't had the vocabulary for this back then. But today I can tell you that the difference was I started paying attention. I started paying attention to those around me, to the environments I was in, to the conversations I was having. And as this cup started to fill and this feeling of thankfulness started emerging, it still wasn't joy that I was observing other people feeling. But it was enough to make me decide that actually, I want to live my life on purpose too. I want to jump in the muddy puddles and dance in the rain. I want to learn to feel what they were feeling when couples, young, blossoming love at university, I would look at them in awe and think, I want to know what that feels like. I looked at families, young moms, and all I wanted was that. And suddenly, this desire, this ongoing nagging, and friends, I can't explain the urge that's linked to suicide because it's not, or attempted suicide or suicidal ideation. I can't explain it, but it overpowers every part of your being. And so even if you were to jump in a muddy puddle at that point, you're overwhelmed by the sense that your life is of no value. What are you doing? You don't have a place in this world. But the conscious decision, the mindful decision that I was going to do it anyway, on purpose, on my terms, made all the difference. Because guess what? My cup was full even more. And yes, there were many days where I had to fake it to make it, but I faked it and I continued. And then I realized that there was a pattern. There was a pattern starting to emerge because as the darkness came in, and the voice, which is not really a voice, but it was trauma, my teacher speaking, friends, I realized that I could control it. I could change that negative self-talk and take back my power. What was that? What was that, you think? Today, thanks to my mindfulness journey, I know that it was me taking the decision to do it in a particular way. Just as little Tippy on the screen is hugging her elephant with trust, confidence, no fear in her heart, but mindfully loving her giant friend, I decided to love my giant task and to ignore trauma, my teacher. Again, I need to express to you that I didn't have the vocabulary for this. I didn't know it was called mindfulness. And I didn't know that cherishing the moments, like the moment that Tippy's sharing with her elephant, I didn't know that it was gratitude. I thought it was maybe thankfulness. Just didn't have the vocabulary. No one teaches us these things at school, not even at university. But somehow, this inner turmoil transformed into some kind of a harmonious interplay between what I was telling my mind, what I was trying to curate in my thoughts, and this feeling of thankfulness, which I now know is gratitude. I also realized, because darkness was still a visitor that came in and out of my life, that this was going to be a lifelong journey, like much like a marriage, I think, that I was committing to, and that there was not going to be a destination such as 16 or 18 or just after my 21st birthday. There was never going to be that journey. And yes, therapy and other tools that were available to me at that time helped. But there was nothing that helped me as much as anchoring in that mindful, that very deliberate, on purpose approach in a very particular way to dealing with my thoughts and my negative self-talk and addressing my insecurities head on. It brings me back to the teachings around gratitude and the neuroscience of gratitude, because it's no joke when the science or the experiments or the academia tell us that what gratitude does for us is that it enables us to be more resilient, that it's a lubricant for the brain so powerful that it helps us improve our relationships, promotes happier and healthier lives, that it literally changes the neural pathway and enables neuroplasticity in our brains. There's another part to my journey, which is being in the present moment. And again, this is that dance, that tango between mindfulness and, for me, gratitude. What these two things have done for me is that it's helped me create these positive feedback loops. I'm not saying it's perfect, because boy, oh boy, do I still struggle most of the time, to be honest, guys, to be in the present moment. But I stop myself and I acknowledge that this is a journey and I'm merely a human being. The difference, though, is that when I catch myself in those present moments, I'm able to anchor myself in this gratitude, the sense of gratitude. And sometimes I still got to fake it to find that reason, as hard as it is in those dark moments, to truly appreciate the good in my life. It almost reminds me of glasses, and I've heard this analogy. I don't know who to credit because I don't know where it came from, but it's like putting glasses on for the first time when you've had a deficiency and just see everything a little bit clearer, a little bit brighter, maybe in 4D. But that's what it means to me to be in the present moment, because I can truly recognize and truly appreciate and distinguish between a feeling of thankfulness and a feeling of gratitude, because thankfulness for me is intellectual, but gratitude has an emotion from the deepest core of my gut. This part is a lifetime journey, and I think a daily practice that I will continue to have to mold and shape. But I will tell you that it's made me more receptive to receiving and being in the present moment more often than not. The last part of this is the hardest part for me, more so than being in the present moment, and that's non-judgment. It's non-judgment of others. My training in the field of psychology always teaches that one should never judge. A client is the expert in their own life, but boy, oh boy, is it difficult when you have to do it to yourself. Because you see, trauma, my teacher had taught me that I need to wear and have several masks ready for any given moment, to be perfect, to be brave, to be a shining star, a stellar peer, a good daughter, one day, a good mom, a good partner. I'm still learning, mindful friends, to let go of these masks, because sometimes I still got to wear them. But it's become easier. It's become easier because my practice allows me to first not judge others. And that allows me to lower my guard and not judge myself as harshly as I do. It reminds me a little bit of last week's talk by Antoinette, where she spoke about the center and being kind, bringing it back to the heart. I've got work to do in non-judgment. But you see, the reason I've shared this deconstructed view with you all is because at the center of my mindfulness journey has been gratitude. Gratitude has introduced to me a quality of life that I didn't think was possible. Today I sit here and I actually love my life. I'm proud to be who I am. I've allowed myself to become intimate with myself in the sense that I'm now able to look at you and say, into me, you may see intimacy. But also to look at myself and say, into me, I see. The power of gratitude is phenomenal. And up on the screen, I've just shared a couple of well-researched benefits of both mindfulness and the symbiosis it has with gratitude, from increasing happiness to relishing and truly being able to anchor and feel and experience positivity in one's life. I've seen their own rewards in my ability to now become physically active and healthy, to deal with resilience in a form of adversity through a form of resilience and grit. I've built healthy and strong relationships anchored in trust, something I never thought I'd be able to do with another human being. I've improved my sleep, friends, to the extent where I no longer need a benzoate to sleep. My lifelong story has been a benzoate before sleep. I'm free of that drug. I'm free of depression, and I can say this to you with no uncertainty, because even when the dark cloud comes and trauma, my teacher, whispers in my ear, I'm able to mindfully undo that talk. There's so many more benefits that I could speak to, but I know that you're aware of these things. And if you're not, I'm happy to share tons and tons of research with you. I know too that you will start discovering this reality, not through the academia, but rather as you continue to build on your own practice. So going back to the ingredients list about a dose of inspiration, I don't know that sharing my story with you resonates, and I don't know how many of you can relate. But I would like to ask you to reflect on the words in Josie's poem and to then anchor and try and imagine, just for a moment, imagine with all of your being, a world where we could impart more knowledge on mindfulness, a world of work, global diaspora of people, all seeking the same thing. Imagine for a moment we fill that with gratitude. If it saved my life, what could it do for others? So, dear friends, I know by now that you've put the pieces of my deconstructed story together, and it does bring us back to the definition. But as we've journeyed through this and I continue my journey, I think I will always be grateful for being able to understand what it actually means and being able to reflect and, in hindsight, piece the story of my life back in a positive narrative. It may change. It may not always be anchored in this definition. In fact, it does change. Sometimes it's anchored in a beautiful song or a binaural beat, or perhaps my day-to-day practices. But this is my story, and I hope that I've inspired you in some way to continue your own mindful journey. You will find the practice that resonates true to you. It may not be gratitude, it may be something else for you, but continue and you will see the light of day. And one day, you'll see the value of your own life. So, as I close with my lesson, I would like to ask you to join me in one final anchoring practice. I'm going to ask you to join me in what is referred to, it's very similar to a body scan for those of you who are familiar. We will be releasing an exhale. It's called a release and exhale, right? So we're going to breathe in through our nose. And as we exhale, we're going to release stress, tension, thoughts, any form of negativity from any part of our body. So please, I invite you to gently close your eyes once again. Follow my voice. If for whatever reason my pace is a little bit too fast or too slow, I welcome you to adjust your rhythm of your breath accordingly. Inhale through the nose, and as we exhale, relax your mind. Inhale 2, exhale, relax your head. Inhale 3, exhale, relax your eyes. Inhale 4, exhale, relax your jaw. Inhale 5, relax your neck. Inhale 6, exhale, relax your spine. Inhale 7, relax your shoulders. Inhale 8, exhale and relax your arms. Inhale 9. Exhale, relax your tummy. Inhale 10. Exhale and relax your legs. Inhale 11. Exhale and relax your toes. Inhale 13. Relax your heart. Take a moment now to once again reflect. Thank our physical form. You may choose to focus on a particular area of your body if you so wish. And thank it for getting us through the physical presence of this day. The deep and final inhale through the nose. Ask that you take a second to pause at the top and deeply, intently, and respectfully release any emotion from today's session through the mouth. Let's go. When you're ready, turn your attention back to the screen, open your eyes. Mindful friends, I want to thank you for allowing me to share my story, to impart some of the knowledge I've gained on my own mindfulness journey. Tried my best to embed some of the practices that have worked for me, and I want to encourage you to hold strong on your journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Bronwyn. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I think you can stop sharing so that we can see
Don't know.
more of you.
Technology. I don't know how. My
So,
screen's gone wonky and I can only see you guys.
oh,
Don't know how to stop.
okay.
And the squiggly is also, yeah, okay.
What about if you, I suppose, if you close the presentation down, maybe?
I seen it. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, here we go.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to see your face more as we give you feedback. So I'll go last. Would like to invite our friends on the call who would like to comment first on Bronwyn's teach back.
I will.
Thank you, please.
Seeing as there were tears rolling down my face. Yeah, I actually had, and it's happening to me again now while I'm talking about it. I had a very visceral response to a certain section of you sharing. It was around suicidality and the darkness. And it's not that easy to touch me. I work with people all day long. So yeah, thank you. It was absolutely amazing. And I loved the images that you chose because they really made me think, because they weren't necessarily standard. And yeah, now I've just forgotten what I wanted to say in ending. Yes, the fact that you asked permission when you were encouraging us with the practice. Yeah, so you weren't prescriptive, and I really loved that. So thank you so, so much, Bron.
Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you, Kigs, for that heartfelt feedback. Um, beautiful. Who would like to offer some more words for Bronwyn? Oriel, come on in.
Oh, yeah. Bronwyn, your presentation pulled at my heartstrings. It took a lot not to cry. Even giving you feedback now, it really touched me. It made me think of my dark times and my thoughts of suicide. You've made me realize that this journey we've been on is but only the beginning, and it only gets better with time. And I want you to know that I am a phone call away. When those dark days come, I will be here. Your practice, your vulnerability, your authenticity, it really brought us back to all the teachings we've had over the last week. You are a fabulous, fabulous person. Thanks for the presentation.
Thank you, Oriel.
Oh, Oriel, you're making
Oh, I feel
me
like I'm gonna cry.
cry. Oh, the waterworks is happening. Oh. Oh, so good. So good. Okay, thanks, Oriel. Anybody else would like to offer some words? Antoinette, come on in.
I should have gone first because now I really feel like a tap's when I open. Thank you so much, Bron. You really, what I absolutely admire about you is how you pulled this group together into a space of empathy and a space of togetherness. And the story that you shared really also touched me, and that poem touched me very much because, oh, I don't want to actually. I think what happened is I've lost quite a few people that are close to me in this life, but my mom came to mind, and the gap that she left made me think of, it's I know that she's with me and she's actually in me, but her physical gap made me realize that actually, when you think about suicide and you think like it'll just be better for everybody if I'm not here and they won't miss me and all that irrational nonsense that actually goes through your mind because you're just not 100% present. It like almost shook me when very quickly my brain made that connection of my mom not being here and that the gap of me not being here could be the same intensity. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was 7 when I thought the first time about not being here anymore. That's so little. I mean, gosh, we are so little when we start not feeling welcome in this world and not feeling good enough and all of that stuff. And just, yeah, to just have great empathy with ourselves for having been on this journey, even patting ourselves on the back for how far we've come. So yes, gratitude is a massive, massive one. And I always say it's like a muscle that the more you practice it, the more And I really actually enjoyed that you didn't spend that much time on the stats and the whatever, because we can show people as many stats as we want to, and that's not going to convince them to do the practice. Personal stories often actually do touch people more than stats. So thank you for sharing so authentically and so beautifully from your heart. It's not always easy to be so vulnerable, and it's very valuable. So thank you.
Thank you, Antoinette.
I loved your meditation, by the way, that last one. I actually, while we were doing it, I thought to myself, gee, this is one I can do from my bed at night.
Exactly what I do, actually. It's how I close off my days.
Wow.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Antoinette.
Thanks, Antoinette.
Any more words tonight for Bronwyn?
Mark, can I maybe say something? Sorry, I know you still need to share your feedback. I'm actually shaking, guys. So for my mindful friends, you don't know this, but I once reached out to Mark and I said, every time I try and meditate or do a practice, tears run down my eyes, but I'm not crying. And for some reason now, I'm actually shaking. I don't know, Mark. I'm okay, right?
Yeah. So it's probably just
It's so crazy.
trauma release. It could be trauma release. I mean, I really feel that as you talk about your big things in life, you are releasing so much by just letting go tonight and expressing. Because how many times do you get the chance to tell your story like you did tonight? And I believe that by doing that creates a massive shift in you, and in all of us. So you're okay. Okay, let me offer you my advice. I loved the title. Immediately it grabbed my attention. A deconstructed mindfulness journey. I was like, wow, that's original. That's really interesting. I wonder what that means. I love the fact that you said you are nervous. It just made you authentic and vulnerable, and you were talking from how you're feeling. Um, and to do the opening practice, to keep a smile on your dial, I really enjoyed that as well. And focusing my attention on a part of the body that feels burdened. Um, and yeah, that was pretty, I was pretty focused. You held my attention. You're a master of beautiful phrases and words, and I was in awe throughout your presentation of some of the words that you chose, respectfully and gently, and as that came into the practice, your voice is so smooth and just flows like a super professional. You look amazing. You look so beautiful. Um, your sound was perfect. Your lighting, I like you blurred your background a little bit. That's fine. Um, it was also refreshing for me how you stayed quiet during the breathing. You didn't guide the breathing practice, which is fine. I like guidance for the breathing practice, but you decided just to let us breathe on our own time, and I enjoyed the silence that brought. So that was good. Um, yeah, let's see. Focus on, yeah, just to, again, loving thanks and gratitude. Those words were really powerful. Um, I like the spaces and the silence. And then you said when you're comfortable, let's take a final breath, and then releasing that pent up energy in that area. So it was a practice on purpose, Um, your story deconstructed, the image of the breaking egg was really funny. I had a little chuckle at the ingredients like a menu. I thought that was so smart. And I realized that we were in for a creative ride and a journey. Shaken and not stirred. I think that was quite, I knew it was going to be, when you said that, I thought, okay, here we go. It's going to be a good story. And then saying, this is a disclaimer. That video was brilliant. It was incredibly moving, and nicely positioned in your slides. You're a slide pro. Um, yeah, I mean, just that point of you saying pondering one's passing and what it means to the world, and it just tied in with your thread, which was so incredible. Saying that your teacher was trauma, I was waiting for this. Who's this teacher? And then that was also really, really creative and clever. The symbolism that you used throughout your teach back was awesome. Your personal story of your struggles, your 16th birthday up to your 18th, that was very powerful, very vulnerable. It was hard to hear, and I think it was quite, again, difficult. I get triggered because of my dad's suicide, so I, yeah, it's a big topic for me. The font you used was so cool. I loved your font in your slides. You must share that font with us. And then, finding your feet, your relationship with your mom, your dad, the social networks. I just thought, wow, what a story of sort of hopelessness and then slowly coming into the light, and blossoming as a young lady. Um, I wish I'd known you then too. Uh, your journey of darkness that was still there, the waxing and waning, small moments of thankfulness, and then starting to bring the definition in slowly was so skillful, so clever. I really enjoyed that. And then linking it with your story. I love the image of the lens, which was so well suited to uh, paying attention, right? That part of the definition. And again, your words and the way you put things together was so poetic. And then on purpose, showing the beautiful pic of the child with the yellow boots. And I actually just had tears of joy at that point. I wasn't sad. I was like, wow, coming out of that real darkness into this child playing in the rain with those big yellow gumboots. And it just gave so much hope, to everyone. On purpose, coming back to trauma as your teacher, taking back your power in the particular way, hugging the elephant, and making peace with trauma. And it's so big, that elephant just makes you feel how big it feels at times. So the imagery was profound and gave us a sense of the enormity and the weight of it, of what you've been through, of what we've been through. Again, slowly, skillfully going through the definition and putting it together with your journey. I loved it. I was just like smiling in awe of the creativity and the thought that you put into this. No one teaches us gratitude, thankfulness, saying the words harmonious interplay, stunning use of words, bringing in the neuroscience of gratitude. I loved when you said the lubricant for the brain, that's gratitude. I thought that was a powerful thing to say, unpacking a few key points. I don't know where you got these pictures from, but they were, sure, outstanding, emotive, and how you struggle to be in the present moment. You're so authentic and so vulnerable, and I think that's something that moved us all. And you can see the power of how you harness vulnerability, and that's what people don't understand. Is that it's such a powerful thing to use. It just opens us up. I mean, we all got opened up, and we all just felt elated and sad and everything all at the same time. It was incredible. The analogy of the present moment and the glasses was brilliant. Gratitude has an emotion. Very cool. I was thinking about that gratitude has an emotion. I mean, I've never quite thought of it like that, so that was an interesting little thing to say. The non-judgment, letting us into your background and your training in psychology, but not being overbearing about it or boastful, humble, that came through. Your humility, because you're a studied, well-educated, learned person in a good position, good job. Reflecting that the client is an expert in their own life and giving us a little bit of insight as to how you would handle a therapy session, which makes me think I need to give you a call and book a session. Then reflecting on Antoinette's talk was great, bringing it back to the heart. I love that, you know, touching on previous presentations. The rose-tinted glasses for gratitude was a perfect image for that. And then, you know, powerful words like, I actually love my life. And I was smiling so much, you know, and smart wording around intimacy, that we can see into you, but also the importance of looking into yourself. Amazing. Your testimony that you are free of depression. And when that dark cloud comes, you undo it mindfully. And there we go. You know, you are telling us that through mindfulness, you can keep that darkness at bay. And that is probably the most powerful thing that you could say, or anyone could say, because that's why we practice. You are very motivational, and I felt like anything that you suggested, I just naturally do, because you wield a great power in moving people. It's such a remarkable and a powerful story of resilience, from surviving to thriving in a way. I was imagining a world where we could impart mindfulness and gratitude. And then the final definition coming together, and then, oh, okay, then deconstructed also fitted in with the way you deconstructed the definition. So again, deconstructed life, deconstructed definition. Oh, so powerful. You didn't sort of stumble, stutter. You knew exactly what you were doing. You were in the flow. I love the fact that you used words like invite you to rather than I want you to. You've been taking notes. You've been really listening carefully. You've been studying the other presentations very carefully. You knew what you were doing. You knew exactly what your delivery was going to be, and you nailed it. When you gave your meditation, your voice changed. It was a bit more quiet, a bit more soft, smooth, gentle. And I was thinking I could just listen to you all night long. I just felt that relaxation. And then I was so impressed with the breath and the relaxation in the form of the body scan. You know, combining the breath and then relaxing the body parts as you go down. I thought that was wildly creative and so damn clever. If I was working in your office and I knew what you could do, I'd be asking you to do this practice for me every day. I'd be like, Bronwyn, come to the boardroom, sit down, do this, you know, help me. I really would. And you, in that way, you would be a very important first responder to someone having a mental health crisis or a panic attack. You would be my go-to, 100%. You know, you would be that person. During the practice, I would have liked to see that slide come down of the thank you so I could see your face. But I know that you were having problems with closing the slides down, and then I understood. But still, I think it would have been so much better for that slide to come down and actually see the way that you were leading it, because you were just leading it from the heart. And my advice to everybody was, when you're going to deliver a practice, make sure you've been practicing it for a while so that you don't have to read it. So you can it just flows from you. And that's what you did. I was thinking in September is Suicide Awareness Month. And I'm really hoping to land a program. And if I do, I will definitely invite you to tell your story. Yeah. I think your story can save lives, you know, and it might just save someone on this call. So, yeah, and then, you know, Antoinette was right about how your personal story was so moving. It made me think of the Maya Angelou quote. And this is something that I often tell people in my work, because sometimes I'm criticized for, repeating myself, or using content that I've used before, whatever. And I just say, in those moments where people are critical of me, I just say the Maya Angelou quote: people will forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Um, so yeah, we might forget all the points and the neuroscience and the research, but the way you made us feel was yeah, very powerful and very touching, really deep emotion. So yeah, I really feel honored that you took this platform to shine. Um, and I'm deeply grateful tonight for what you've done. I think it was awesome. Um, Only one thing, there wasn't a check-in. Uh, yeah,
You're right.
but I actually I didn't even miss it, to be honest. So I don't even want to say that that was missing. Uh, I think it's fine. Really, I just, yeah, maybe somewhere it could have happened and we would have
Mm,
jumped in a little bit, but it doesn't matter really. I mean, I think you kind of, there's no hard and fast formula to how these things work. But if you are authentic and you are vulnerable and you are a storyteller, then you can take it and make it fantastic in your own wonderful way, and that's what you did. So yeah, I'm just so grateful. Thanks, Bronwyn.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mark, for the feedback. I'm sitting here in awe of how you actually, and every week I do this because the way you capture every component of the work that we've put forward, and you've done it with all of us, is remarkable.
Wow.
I don't have that kind of focus yet. Um, but I also just want to say, so Mark, you saying thank you, but I really have to thank everyone on the call, because it's not often that I'm not comfortable in sharing the story. Maybe maybe 2 or 3 other instances we have been able to, but I think over the weeks, and I know that the teach back, it's not because we're familiar, it should be an actual teach back,
Yeah.
as if we weren't familiar with our audience. But I have to say that everyone on the call, and I know Stefan and Danelle's not here, Veruna is also not on, but it's because we've created a shared space over this time that it makes it easier. And so now if I am needing to or wanting to share this elsewhere, I know that it's safe because you
Uh,
guys have
yeah.
given me permission. So I think the thanks goes to all of you,
Yeah. No,
really.
listen, you have to share this again. It's such a great story. It really is. You really must. I don't know, like in whatever shape or form and however we can help you, but you know, at least when you share it again, it'll be easier, as you say. And I think the reason why you were so nervous is because it's really such an integral and very sensitive part of your life, your journey. So yeah, it's different to having a PowerPoint presentation with slides for work and presenting something like that. It's completely different, and I understand the nervousness. Are you still shaking?
A little bit. It's cooled down a little bit. Like I can actually write now. I still feel it for some reason in my arms and body, but it's not like
Okay. Yeah.
my teeth aren't clicking anymore. So
Wow. I think it's a good thing. I think it's like a trauma release, actually. It's a form. I really think so.
these weird things keep happening.
Mm.
Can I say
Yeah.
one other thing
Yeah.
to Kerry, if you don't mind? Kerry, it's weird that you picked up on the imagery. Well, you too, Mark, but Kerry, you were first to mention it, and it's so crazy because when I was going through Tippy, my book of Africa, I don't have it in my office, but I thought of you Tippy reminds me so much of you. And I don't know if you're familiar with the book, but gosh, I've got to give you a copy because she's like a tiny version of you with these cheetahs and just lions, and she's just got the most profound outlook on life. But yeah, and I look at Tippy, I see a baby Carrie, a strong baby Carrie.
Yeah.
I would be wrapped around an elephant. Maybe not an elephant, but yeah.
Yeah.
Deep, deep love for animals. Yeah. Thank you.
Magic. I love it. Thanks for sharing the backstories. Yeah, thanks for putting all the effort into your teach back, Bronwyn. It's really showed. And yeah, also what I sort of like to reflect on, because everyone paved the way for you. I think Danielle and Oriel starting so strong like they did, just sort of gave everyone a platform to. We sort of stood on their shoulders, and launched ourselves from there. So, Oriel, I just wanted to come back and say, thank you for your bravery in going first, because these ladies had the opportunity to learn and grow, So, yeah, I just wanted to reflect on that too. It's never easy doing it first, because from there, they just keep like building. They know more or less. So anyway, I always have a special thank you for the people that go first. It's really brave. All right, ladies. Yeah, I could talk all night, but Bronwyn, yeah, thanks again. Go and have a nice rest, and you must feel relieved. It's over now, and you just got to focus on getting your 200 hours. So well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good. All right. We'll see you. I will communicate with you guys next week. Hopefully, we'll have another teach back. I'm sure we will. Even if we don't, then we will still meet and have like a cup of tea and enjoy the end of the course, right? I think it will be. But anyway, I'll let you guys know. I'm still not sure. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Everybody. Bye.
Thanks.
Good night, everyone. Thank you again, Brian.
Thank you, Anthony.
Bye.